Look at the picture on the screen. Over here we have a boy, Raghav, who has been given a very tedious task. He has been asked to find out the angles of the field of his school, the field ABCD. Now it was told to him that this field is in the shape of a parallelogram. That is, opposite sides are parallel to one another. Now Raghav had been asked out to find out the angles, angle A, angle B, angle C and angle D of this particular field. But the problem was that this field was a huge one and Raghav was a lazy boy. So he did not want to go around the field measuring all the four angles. So what did he do? Raghav was a boy who knew his mathematics very well. So what he did was he measured just one of the angles. And after measuring only one angle, he was able to find out the measures of all the other three angles correctly. So let us see how Raghav did this and what property of parallelograms he used. So the property is that consecutive angles of a parallelogram are supplementary. So what do I mean when I say supplementary? It means that the sum of the angles is equal to 180 degrees. So in this case, when I say consecutive angles, I mean either angle A and angle B or angle B and angle C, and likewise angle C, angle D, and in the similar manner. So in this case, we have considered two angles. In this parallelogram, we have considered angle X and angle Y. And the property states that consecutive angles, in this case angle X and Y, will be supplementary. So we write X plus Y is equal to 180 degrees. So in a simple way, we can prove this with a very simple activity. Over here, I take this particular portion that resembles a triangle. I take this portion and I move it to this side. Since opposite sides are parallel to one another, I was able to do this very simply. Now as you can see, angle X and angle Y lie on a straight line, or in other words, they form a linear pair of angles. So since angle X and angle Y are a linear pair of angles, or in other words, they lie on a straight line, we can say easily that X plus Y is equal to 180 degrees. Now let us find out how we can prove this property mathematically. So we have been given ABCD, which is a parallelogram, and we have been asked to prove that angle ABC, that is this angle, is equal to angle DAB, that is this angle. So what have we been given? We have been given that ABCD is a parallelogram, that is this side and this side are parallel, and these two sides are also parallel to one another. Thus, AD parallel to BC and AB parallel to DC have been given to us. So now let us see how we can proceed to prove this particular property. Now in the beginning, what we do is we consider parallel sides AD and BC. So we consider these two sides and we extend line AB to E. Now if you look closely, you will find that AD is parallel to BC. So I mark out two angles now, angle DAB and angle CBE. If you look closely, you will find that angle DAB and angle CBE are corresponding angles for the parallel sides AD and BC. And from the property of parallel lines, we know that corresponding angles are equal. So I can write that angle DAB is equal to angle CBE because they are corresponding angles. Now we have established that these two angles are equal by virtue of the fact that they are corresponding angles. Now consider another angle, that is angle CBA. Now in angle CBA or angle ABC, and angle CBE, we find that these two angles are lying on a straight line. Or in other words, we can say that angle ABC plus angle CBE is equal to 180 degrees. Why? Because these two angles lie on the straight line AE and they form a linear pair of angles. Thus, angle ABC plus angle CBE equal to 180 degrees because they form a linear pair. Now look at this particular equation which we had obtained earlier and use this value in this equation. So I can replace the value of CBE with angle DAB, and what do I obtain? I obtain angle ABC plus angle DAB is equal to 180 degrees. I merely replace the value obtained from this equation into this equation, and I obtain angle ABC plus angle DAB is equal to 180 degrees. This is nothing but what we had originally set out to prove, that angle ABC plus angle DAB, that are consecutive angles for the parallelogram ABCD, the sum of these two angles is equal to 180 degrees. Thus, we have proved this particular property. So, consecutive angles of a parallelogram are supplementary. So now Raghav was able to measure, as I mentioned previously, one angle of the entire huge parallelogram field, and that angle is equal to 50 degrees. And measuring only this particular angle, Raghav was able to find out all the other three angles. So let us see how. So we have studied that consecutive angles in a parallelogram are supplementary. So if I have the measure of this particular angle, angle DAB, and I have been given that ABCD is a parallelogram, what can I say? I can say that angle DAB plus angle ABC will be equal to 180 degrees, and we know the value of angle DAB, that is DAB is equal to 50 degrees. So I can write 50 plus angle ABC is equal to 180 degrees. So now from this equation, I can easily calculate the value of angle ABC, that is this particular angle. How? I simply take 50 to the other side. That is 180 minus 50 is going to give me the measure of angle ABC, and that gives me 130 degrees. So I get the measure of angle ABC as 130 degrees. So in a similar manner, we can find out the measures of all the other angles. If we consider two other consecutive angles, let's say angle DAB and angle CDA, that is this angle which is equal to 50 degrees and this angle. Even in this case, these two angles are consecutive and these two angles will be supplementary. So also over here, angle CDA will be equal to 180 degrees minus 50 degrees, which is equal to 130 degrees. So CDA or ADC is equal to 130 degrees. And again in a similar manner, considering angle ABC is a consecutive angle with angle BCD, that is this particular angle, and they will be supplementary as well, we can easily find out the measure of that angle. So angle DCB, that is this particular angle, will also be equal to 50 degrees. Why? Because angle ABC and angle DCB are consecutive angles. So it was in this way, knowing just one value of one angle, that is angle DAB, Raghav was able to measure all the other three angles using this particular property.